Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. It's a fantastic Friday today. Hope everybody's doing well. Glad to see you. And Happy New Year to everybody I haven't had a chance to speak to yet. Hope you coming into the new year on your own. Sitting out here right now, enjoying this freeze, this snow. I've been living in Texas now for a few years, and they said this time last year was a once in a century freeze. That's what they call it, once in a century. And it was really bad in the Texas area, North Texas, in the DFW. It was bad. There was a lot of snow. And down in Houston, it was really extremely bad. But this year, we got snow again. That's my backyard. It's thawing out now, but it was really bad. The last couple of days, we even had to close the schools. So we had to close the schools because the snow was just that bad. And it just got me to thinking about last year. It was just 24 hours, 48 hours or whatever. But I know there are other parts of the country that got it for far longer during the wintertime. But last year, this time, that was extremely bad because the snow was for like a week or longer. There's a lot of people in Texas that were without power for weeks. Like I said, especially down in the Houston area. That's the first time I learned that Houston has its own energy grid. I was living a lot of my life. I'm from Mississippi, so, we had different energy companies. Different parts of the country have different energy companies, but they're all the same grid. Texas has its own, special energy grid. So when it went down, the majority of people in Texas was without energy. And it just got me to thinking about survival, I know over the last couple of years, we have all been collectively dealing with COVID and, trying to deal with this, surviving that. And shouts out, by the way, shouts out to everybody that made it to 2022. Shouts out to everybody. I know we all got through 2021 different ways. I know there's some people that were not able to make it to 2022. But if you were able to make it to 2022, however that may have been, some people just ran through like champions. You may have crawled in, you may have limped in 2022, but however you got to 2022, I just want to say shouts out to you. Congratulations. I'm proud of you that you made it, because what's been going on the last couple of years, it just seems like it just gets harder and harder to make it every day. Every day it seems like it gets harder and harder to make it. And it makes it seem like in our own little worlds where everybody's in survival. So that's what, I want to talk about. I want to talk about survival mode. There are different situations that we all deal with. Collectively, as a humanity, we're all dealing with COVID in our own way. But let's not forget that there were things going on in people's lives before COVID hit. We were surviving different things, in our own worlds. It just seemed like COVID took precedence over all that. But like I said, that storm last year, people were surviving without lights, without water, without housing, without a lot of different things. Maybe it might be, you survived an abusive relationship, or you survived living out on the street, or, abusive parents, whatever the case may be. You survived college. The fact that you survived high school, it wasn't like when I was going to school. It was different. But now these kids today, just being able to make it home every day is amazing. Every day you turn on the news, you're hearing kids being attacked and dealing with bullying and all kind of things at school. So the fact that they're surviving school, is amazing. It used to be if you could get a diploma, you did something great. But now just to go to school every day and come home safely, is a thing, is great, because that's not guaranteed. So in your own little world, whatever it is you're surviving, you know, I want to tell you, you know, I'm proud of you for that. But I do want to caution. I want to caution all those survivalists out there. Yeah, that's great that you've been surviving this or that. And some of us have been surviving this or that longer than others. You know, some of us have been in survival mode our whole lives. But I do want to caution you. That's not the way it should be. That's not the way it ought to be. I know some of us have had to survive some pretty horrific things, but that's not the way it was meant to be. And it was for that time. You had to be in survival mode for that time. I had to be in survival mode for that time, in that space, in that place that I was in, that you were in. But to say that I need to be in survival mode every day, all day, I don't think that's the way it was meant to be. I don't think that's what the Creator had in mind for us, to be in survival mode every day. And I know somebody out there is going to say, well, Malachi, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I've been through. How could you say that? Just hear me clearly for a few minutes. Just indulge me for a few moments. You think about who you are. You're a lot of different things to a lot of people. For the men, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a brother, you're an uncle, you're a son. For your women, you're a wife, a mother, a sister, an aunt, a daughter. Can you imagine, from a productivity standpoint, can you imagine if you were to accidentally put the wrong hat on at the wrong time? Can you imagine if I were to walk in with my son hat on at the time I was supposed to have my husband hat on? Or if I was supposed to be a father at the time I had my son hat? The interaction wouldn't go the way it should have, because I was in the wrong mode at the wrong time. You know, I'm at home, I'm at work, but I got my playful hat on at work. It's not going to go well. Even the things that we buy, you know, like our cars, you know, not the older model cars, but today's cars. There are different modes on the car. You know, they have economy mode, they have sport mode, they have snow mode. You know, different modes for different situations. So imagine if you had to be in that one mode all the time and you couldn't change out of it. You're not going to get the best out of that situation. Survival mode is for what it's for, but it's not for every day. That's a pretty bad situation if you have to be in survival mode every day. And you get to the point where you just believe that since I've always had to be in survival mode, you believe that you will always have to be in survival mode for the rest of your life. And a lot of times we don't even know how we accidentally place ourselves in survival mode. It's by the things we say. It's about the things we believe and what we think. You know, I think one of the most normalized things we say is, I'm just trying to make it through the day. When you say, I'm just trying to make it through the day, you've hit the pinnacle of your life. That's what I want to do. So by the time the end of the day comes, by the time you get out of work, by the time you get out of school, you feel like you've accomplished something. You feel like, I made it through the day. And that's the pinnacle of your existence. That's all you want to do, is make it through the day. Which means you're not putting forth any energy to do anything else but that. Which is why you have to do the same thing tomorrow, and the same thing the next day, and the same thing the next day, because we never get out of that mode of anything else. That's all we want to do. How many times have you said, I'm just trying to make it through the day, and then when you get home and you have a significant other that needs your attention or wants your attention, or you have kids that need your attention, you got to cook, you got to clean. Everything that happens after you get off work is an irritation. You're like, oh my God, he's wearing me. because you didn't want to do that. You just wanted to make it through the day, and when you got home, you wanted to take a nap, you wanted to go to sleep. You wanted the rest of the world to just leave you alone. So because it wouldn't leave you alone, you got irritated. You got irritated about it. Because that's all you wanted to do was just make it through the day. You're not focused on tomorrow, which means you're not planning for tomorrow. You're not prepared for tomorrow. Your mindset is not ready to do anything but make it through the day. Or you make it through the week. And you say, well, I'm just trying to make it to the weekend. Where's the preparation and the planning to get out of that mode? You just take the break and you're like, whew, I can sit down for a few minutes just to get back and do it all over again tomorrow. You will always have to do that because the mindset is not on breaking out of that cycle. Well, how do you get out of that cycle? Survival mode is all about something that happened to you before, something that happened to you in the past. One of the key things about survival mode, most survivalists, they don't trust. They have trust issues. You don't trust me. I can't trust anybody but me, Malachi. That's the only person I can trust. That's the only person I can depend on. We have to get to a point where we can get out of that mode. You got to have belief, first of all, that you can. You got to want to get out of survival mode. And I know that sounds so obvious. Well, I want to get out of survival mode. Yeah, I know you want to, but then after you want to, you got to believe that you can, and there's certain things that you have to do to actually make that happen. Wanting to is not enough. I want this snow out of my yard, but I can't just sit there and say, I want this snow to be gone. I'm about to go get a shovel. I'm about to go get a rake. I'm about to go do something and get the snow out of my yard. I can't just say, I want it gone. You have to have courage to do those things. And having courage doesn't necessarily mean, you're never afraid. We're all afraid of something. We let our fears control us, and that's what the opposite of courage is. Yeah, I can be afraid, but having courage means I'm going to go do it anyway. I'm not allowing my fear to control my decision making. I personally, and I know this is a belief on me, just me, I know it's not an end all be all, but I personally believe that you can't make it through this world without trusting at least one somebody. Everybody in this world has at least one person they can trust. You can't make it through this world by yourself, which is you. So I know that's a cliche that we all like to say, well, I don't trust nobody but me. But then who are you going to allow to help you? That means if you don't trust anybody, you're not going to allow anybody to help you out of the current situation you say you want to be out of. So somebody may have the right ideas. Somebody might have the right tools. Someone may have the right resources to help you out of that situation. And you're going to tell them no because you don't trust them. That means you're pretty much keeping yourself in survival mode. I'd rather stay in survival mode what I always know than risk the unknown of trusting somebody. So I know we've been in it, for quite a while, you've been in it for a long time, but it's not meant for you to be in survival mode all the time. For one, it's exhausting. You can't tell me that being in survival mode every day is not exhausting. And if you don't trust anybody, that means you can't take a nap, you can't go to sleep, you can't get any rest because you got to watch your back at all times. So you can't even rest in survival mode. You're overthinking because you're trying to compensate for the lack of help that you have. So you're thinking the amount of 5, 6, 7 people, and you're just one person. Survival mode is the equivalent of overworked, underpaid. You're going to work every day, struggling, making that little bit of money, and you're underpaid, but you're overworked. That's the equivalent of always having to be in survival mode. I wanted to wait a couple of weeks before the New Year's resolution emotional roller coaster kind of went down. I know there are a lot of people out there that believe in New Year's resolutions. I personally don't, because I believe a lot of them are made by emotion. We're all gung-ho at the beginning of the year and like, yeah, let's do this. And then, a couple of weeks later, we're like, oh, I don't feel it. I don't want to anymore. So I believe, New Year's resolutions, that's only come once a year. So that means for all of those people that make them, now you got to wait a whole new, 10, 11 months to make a new one before 2023 comes. I don't think we should have to wait. Why are we waiting on a particular day to make life changes? Let's make those life changes right now in the day that we're in. I don't want to wait till January 1st to say I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. We can make that on February 4th. We can make that today. Say, hey, I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Let's make lifestyle changes, not New Year's resolution changes. Let's make lifestyle changes, whether the new year is here or not. Today could be your new year. It don't have to be January 1st. It could be today. You might be saying, well, I hear you, Malachi. I listen to you. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you say we need to get out of survival mode. I need to get out of survival mode, but I don't know how. That's okay. That's okay. You may not know how. It's not something everybody knows how. Everybody doesn't know how to do everything, and that's where the willingness to accept help come from. It's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do, but I raise my hand and I say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Will you help me? I don't just keep not knowing it, because if you don't know it yesterday, that's not your fault. Somebody might not have taught you, so it's not your fault if you didn't know this or that as a kid. But today, if you don't know something and you're just too afraid, you should raise your hand, ask for help. Say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Will you teach me? Presuming that you want to learn that thing. And that's just my belief. I believe that everybody would like to get out of survival mode because it stunts your growth. It stunts your growth being in survival mode. We, as a people, can be so much further than we are if we didn't allow the survival mode and the fear and anxiety and all those things to stunt our growth, to keep us down. We will be growing at a much faster pace, at a much faster rate. So if you don't know how to do it, that's completely understandable. But let's get to that point where we can learn. Say, hey, I want to get out of survival mode. I want to be taught how to do that. Just another way. All it is another option. And I know this may hurt somebody's feelings, and I do apologize in advance, but we're not where we need to be to get the solutions of our current problem. We're not where we need to be, because let's just be honest. To say I know I'm where I need to be to resolve this issue, then the question would be, well, why haven't you resolved it yet if you know what to do? If you know what to do, if you got what it takes, then that means you're in that situation by choice then. And I don't want to think anybody is in a bad situation by choice. I would not want to think that way. So to say I have the capacity to fix this problem, but I just choose not to, do we really want to say that? Do we really want to say, yeah, I'm in this funk and I know I can get out of this funk, but I don't want to be out of this funk. I want to be miserable. Do we really want to say that? So I challenge us to say, okay, well, no, I really don't know what it takes, but I'm willing to learn because I want to get out of this situation just that badly. I think everybody has the right to enjoy their life. And there's a lot of things out there that are meant to keep us from doing it. It's hard to enjoy your life when you're filled with anxiety. It's hard to enjoy your life. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just difficult. It's difficult to enjoy your life when you're consumed by fear all the time. It's difficult. It's hard. It's uncomfortable to enjoy your life because it's meant to be free and abundant. And we're living in a shell of ourselves, being in survival mode all the time. So I urge you, yes, I'm grateful. I'm happy that we all made it through a very chaotic year, last couple of years. But I do understand that there are people that have been going through some of life's most difficult challenges and situations even before COVID came. And I'm just allowing myself to come on and say, hey, I would like the opportunity to help you with that. Maybe you may not have a person that wants to help you. Maybe the circle you're in, they really don't pay attention. They don't care. They don't acknowledge that, you're going through anything. So it's possible for some people to be right there in a crowded room and you're screaming at the top of your lungs saying, don't anybody see me? Nobody sees that I'm going through what I'm going through. Nobody cares. You're around several people and you're screaming, saying, help me, and nobody's turning around. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like to need help and want help, and nobody acknowledges that you need it. Nobody's paying attention to you. As I said, my name is Malachi Love. I'm with Anointed Mind, Holistic Health and Wellness. And that's what I do. I help individuals just like you every day get out of the survival mode and into thrive mode. We need to be about thriving. Every single one of us has greatness inside of us. Every single one of us have dreams and wants and desires that we want to accomplish. And it's just so many things that get in the way of that. It could be a past. It could be something, past trauma. It could be, I don't think I'm good enough. It's whatever it is that we're allowing on the inside of us to hold us back and keep us down. When was the last time you looked inside yourself and looked in the mirror and said, I see greatness in you? How often do we hear that in today's time? You're ready to get out of survival mode. You're ready to start that fresh new lifestyle that you have. You're ready to be great. You were born to be great. Now it's time to step into our greatness. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about it. This next week coming up, start this new year off right. For those that want to change, make a change. Giving away 5 free discovery calls, alignment calls. Let's have a conversation for a few minutes about what it is you want to accomplish in this new year, this new turn, this new lifestyle that you're about to embark on. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. I'm here to help. I want to help. You don't have that support system in your life that you so desperately need. We can talk about that too. 5 free discovery calls. Just type, yes, I'm ready in the comments. I'll reach out to you via direct messenger. All you need to do is type, I'm ready in the comment section. The first five individuals that type, I'm ready. And let's get this new year started the way you want it to be. Much love to you. Grace, favor, and protection to each and every one of you, family. Enjoy the rest of your fantastic Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll talk to you soon.